This is The Raid, exposing the dark world of America's deportation machine. I'm your host, John Carlos Frey. Hi, everybody. Welcome to 3 stories that you may not have heard of for the week of November 24th. Our first is according to NBC News. An employee of the Department of Homeland Security was among 16 men arrested last week in a sex trafficking operation in Minnesota looking to catch suspects allegedly soliciting sex from minors. Alexander Stephen Back, age 41, was arrested in a multi-agency sting dubbed Operation Creep. The men were arrested under suspicion of trying to solicit sex from someone they believed to be a 17-year-old girl. Officials listed Back as an auditor for Homeland Security Investigations and Immigration Customs Enforcement, ICE. Yes, an ICE agent stuck in a sex trafficking ring. When Back was arrested, he said, "I'm ICE, boys." A spokesperson for ICE said that Back was hired in 2022. Following his arrest, ICE immediately placed Alexander Back on administrative leave. The operation involved officers monitoring websites and apps that are allegedly used to purchase sex from trafficked individuals. Back was released after posting a $75,000 bond. Jail records state that Back had been formally charged with at least 1 count of prostitution. In January of this year coming, ICE is going to be hiring 10,000 new agents. The Trump administration has appropriated $170 billion in order for this operation to proceed. And the hiring standards for ICE and for CBP, which is Border Patrol, have been lowered. So when you get agents like this and you lower the standards and you have a hiring push, you're going to get a whole bunch of bad apples. This is not just one isolated incident. This next story is from ProPublica. Family separations are happening all across the country, and advocates fear that the administration is conducting the new family separations for the same reasons as before: to deter new immigrants from coming, to terrify those that are already here into leaving. Since the start of 2025, some 600 immigrant children have been placed into government shelters by ICE, according to government data. That figure, which has not been previously reported, is already higher than the tally for the previous 4 years combined. And it's the highest number since record-keeping began a decade ago. More children in ICE custody than ever before. In a majority of the cases, kids ended up in shelters in ways government officials say they never would have in the past. After routine immigration court hearings, or appointments, or because they were at home, or a business when immigration authorities showed up to arrest someone else. In South Carolina, a Colombian family of 5 went to a government office for a fingerprinting appointment, only to have the parents detained while the children ages 5, 11, and 15 were sent into the shelter system for 4 months. In South Florida, a 17-year-old from Guatemala was taken into custody because officers couldn't make contact with his dad after a traffic stop. His dad is deaf. In Maryland, a 17-year-old from Mexico ended up in a shelter after making a wrong turn onto military property. In around 150 cases, children were taken into federal custody after traffic stops. The trend is especially noticeable in states like Florida, where thousands of state and local police, including Highway Patrol, have been deputized to enforce immigration laws. Once children are in shelters, the government is making it harder and harder for relatives or other adults who act as sponsors to get them back. The average length of stay has grown to nearly 6 months, up from 1 month during the presidency of Joe Biden. White House spokesperson Abigail Jackson said in a written statement that the Biden administration released immigrant kids to sponsors too quickly and without proper vetting, sometimes into unsafe situations. Department of Homeland Security spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin said, "For ICE, the agency does not separate families and instead offers parents a choice to have their children deported with them or to leave the children in the care of another adult consistent with past practices." That is a bunch of bullshit. You're going to have to start thinking about what kind of a government you have when it's okay to arrest and detain children, separate them from their parents, and disappear them for at least 6 months at a time. This is from the publication from San Francisco called Mission Local. The Department of Justice has just recently fired 5 San Francisco immigration court judges in the largest cut to immigration judges in the city so far this year. The firings bring the total number of San Francisco immigration judges fired by the Trump administration to 12 this year. Only 9 immigration judges remain in San Francisco, according to the court's website. The Trump administration is seeking to make its mark on the asylum system. Secretary Kristi Noem of the Department of Homeland Security on Thursday tweeted an ad asking candidates to apply to be a deportation judge, promising a salary between $159,000 to $207,000. The ad also touted a sign-up bonus equal to 25% of that starting salary if hired in one of the several cities, including San Francisco. All 5 judges fired from San Francisco on Friday had relatively high rates of granting asylum cases. This is the tactic of the Trump administration to get rid of judges that will grant asylum. They want to put in their own judges that will not grant asylum. The Trump administration has fired more than 80 immigration judges so far this year, even amid a 3.4 million backlog of cases. In response, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has assigned 600 military judges to temporarily fill those roles nationwide. Multiple attorneys said that they worry that the firings will disrupt cases for clients with upcoming hearings and further strain an already backlogged system. Thank you for listening to The Raid, available wherever you get your podcasts. For more information about our guests and the subjects we cover, please visit our website at theraidpodcast.org.